Hey folks, welcome back to another video. Today we'll be looking at question 59, spiral matrix 2. The way we'll be solving this problem is by actually filling the outer layers first, and we'll be using a while loop to keep a track of the left pointer is not touching the right pointer. And we'll continue populating the matrix. So basically we'll have 4 pointers for the rows, the top and the bottom, and then the columns, the right and the left. So anytime you fill that up, we either increment it or decrement it based on like what has been filled, and then we continue looping. It's a pretty simple problem. So let's get started. The first thing you actually need is like the 2D array that you need to return. So we initialize that of size n and n, and then let's initialize the pointers, right? Just so that it's easier for you to like read the code, it makes sense to come up with easy names. So let's say like the top row, let's just initialize that to let's just name the variable top and assign it to be 0. Bottom would be n-1, since we are indexing from 0. Left would be, this would keep track of the columns, that would be 0. Int right would be n-1, right? And we also need to fill up the values. So since we're starting with 1, the current value will be equal to 1, and then we have a while loop, right? So since the matrix is of n, you could either do top is less than or equal to bottom, or left is less than or equal to right, because they are, both of them are equal to n. It doesn't really matter. So even if like, it doesn't matter if you have top less than or equal to bottom, or left less than or equal to right, still the same condition. So this is where the fun starts. So you need to iterate through the first, like the top row, right? So what we'll do is for int I, so it needs to start with what? So it needs to, actually the column needs to increment. So let's say int j, because usually in for loops you start with I and j. So since we use columns with j, let's just do that. So int j, so it starts with left, goes all the way till right, and then you increment j. And what do you need to do? It's res of, we need to populate the top row, top of j, so the column is moving. So you assign current to that, and then increment it. And once this is done, the top row has been filled, so you increment top. Awesome. So that fills up the top row. Now for the column moving down, so the row increments, so we go from the top row to the bottom. So you would increment I, and then res of I of right. So basically, since you are populating the rightmost column, it'd be right, and then you assign current to that and increment it, and then the rightmost column has been filled, so you decrement right by 1. Awesome. So let's do the bottom row. So but you need to start from the right, so let's assign this to be right, and since you're decrementing it, you go from right to left, you decrement j. Yes, okay. So but the column the row you're filling is actually the bottom one, so you just need to change that. And then since the bottom row has been filled, you need to decrement that. Yes, awesome. So, and the one last part is setting up the column on the way to the top. So yeah, so we need to keep changing the row. It starts with bottom greater than equal to top, and you actually decrement I instead of increasing it. And instead of filling the rightmost column, you actually fill the leftmost column, and then the left you increment. Awesome. for these questions which have like almost like a symmetry, you can also see that there are two increments and two decrements that make sense. And then you can see that it keeps switching. So the variable, like one of them you're holding it constant, the other one is what is changing, and it switches, right? So it's either the first index or the second index. So if you have that and it's symmetrical, you know that you have done the problem correctly. Something that to keep in mind if you're like basically like coding or double checking. In the end, once the values have been assigned, you just need to return it. Awesome. Let's try compiling this. Okay, so the first few test cases are okay. Everything else is okay as well. Awesome. So let's talk about the space and the time complexity. The space complexity is of n squared since we are using an array of size n squared, and the time complexity is also of n squared since we have to iterate through all of the elements from 1 to n squared to assign them. Awesome. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. It definitely keeps me motivated to make more videos. So thanks so much, and I'll see you folks in the next video. Peace.